Book review: The Gentleman's Gentleman by T. J. Alexander. Plot summary: The Gentleman's Gentleman by T. J. Alexander's witty and heartfelt Regency era romance that subverts traditional tropes by centering on trans man navigating societal expectations and an unexpected attraction. The story follows Lord Christopher Eden, notoriously eccentric nobleman who prefers quiet life on his estate. Eden's End, with only his beloved childhood cook and aged butler Plinkton for company. His comfortable solitude is shattered when his lures inform him of in his late father's will he must marry by his 25th birthday or forfeit his entire family fortune and the estate. This ultimatum presents a significant challenge for Christopher, who is a closeted trans man and exclusively attracted to men. The prospect of finding a wife and maintaining a conventional marriage is daunting and deeply unappealing. To fulfill those requirements and appear more respectable to London society during the season, Christopher reluctantly agrees to move to the bustling city and hire additional staff, including a valet. Enter James Harding, the stoic, meticulous, and strikingly handsome valet Christopher's lawyers procure. James is a stickler for propriety and initially finds Christopher's unconventional habits perplexing, particularly Christopher's insistence on dressing himself, which goes against the duties of a valet despite their initial friction and differing personalities. Christopher being more flamboyant and witty, James more reserved and seemingly a more fragile friendship begins. Formed between the gentleman and his gentleman, their shared love for horses becomes an early point of connection, and their casual banter and sarcasm reveal surprising chemistry. As Christopher navigates the London season, attempting to find a suitable wife for a marriage of convenience, his growing feelings for James become an increasingly complicated and undeniable distraction. The novel beautifully explores the slow burn romance between them, built on stolen glances, tender moments, and a deep, unspoken understanding. Both men are keeping secrets. Christopher's trans identity and his true desires, and James's own mysterious past. The looming shadow of Christopher's impending nuptials creates significant tension, threatening to shatter their burgeoning connection. The narrative delves into profound themes of authenticity versus obligation as Christopher grapples with the pressure to conform to societal norms for the sake of his inheritance versus living true to himself. It also highlights the concept of chosen family, exemplified by Christopher's bond with his longtime servants and the eventual partnership he forms with James. Alexander thoughtfully explores transgender experiences within a historical context, reminding readers that queer individuals have always existed, even without the modern language to define their identities. The master-servant dynamic between Christopher and James adds another layer of complexity, challenging rigid class boundaries of the Regency era. As Christopher and James grow closer, they find themselves helping others, such as a pair of stark lovers, further solidifying their bond. Christopher's journey is one of self-acceptance and finding the courage to fight for the life he truly desires, even if it means risking everything. The book is lauded for its dry wit, charming characters, and its groundbreaking portrayal of a trans romance in a historical setting, ultimately delivering a heartwarming story about finding love and acceptance for exactly who you are. Book review: T.J. Alexander's Gentleman's Gentleman emerges as groundbreaking and deeply resonant addition to the historical romance genre, deftly weaving together the beloved tropes of Regency England with refreshingly modern and nuanced exploration of queer identity and love. Far from being mere historical passage, Alexander crafts narrative that is both delightfully witty and profoundly moving, challenging conventional notions of romance while affirming the timeless desire for authenticity and connection. This novel stands out not only for its captivating slow-burn romance, but also for its pioneering portrayal of trans man navigating the complexities of his identity in society, ill-equipped to understand it. At its heart, A Gentleman's Gentleman introduces readers to Lord Christopher Eden. The character is charmingly eccentric as he is deeply private. Christopher prefers the quiet solitude of his sprawling estate, Eden's End, finding comfort in the familiar company of his long-serving cook and his aged, loyal butler Plinkton. His life, while perhaps unconventional by societal standards, is one of contented seclusion, far removed from the prying eyes and expectations of the ton. However, this carefully constructed peace is irrevocably disrupted by the arrival of the legal decree. His late father's will stipulates that Christopher must marry by his 25th birthday or face the devastating consequence of losing his entire inheritance and, more importantly, his beloved estate. This ultimatum presents an existential crisis for Christopher. As a trans man, he is not attracted to women, and the thought of entering a marriage of convenience, let alone one that would require him to conceal his true self, fills him with dread. The prospect of deceiving a wife and living a lie is anathema to his gentle nature. Resigned to his fate, yet determined to preserve Eden's end, Christopher reluctantly prepares to embark on the London season. Societal gauntlet designed for finding a suitable spouse. To present a more conventional facade to the judgmental eyes of the aristocracy, he agrees to hire additional staff, among them a valet. This is where James Harding enters Christopher's world, a character who is in many ways Christopher's antithesis. James is reserved, impeccably proper, and seemingly humorless, a stark contrast to Christopher's flamboyant style and dry wit. Their initial interactions are marked by a delightful friction born from James's rigid adherence to the duties of a valet and Christopher's stubborn independence, particularly his insistence on dressing himself. This seemingly trivial detail becomes an early symbol of Christopher's desire for autonomy and his quiet resistance to societal expectations. Yet, beneath their surface differences, a subtle magnetism begins to pull them together. Their shared passion for horses provides an unexpected bridge, and their witty, often sarcastic banter slowly chips away at their initial reservations, revealing a burgeoning, undeniable chemistry. The romance between Christopher and James is the beating heart of the novel, a masterclass in the slow burn trope. Alexander meticulously builds their connection, allowing it to unfurl organically through shared moments, quiet observations, and unspoken understandings. It is a romance of glances, subtle gestures, and a growing emotional intimacy that feels deeply earned. The tension is palpable, heightened by the constant threat of Christopher's impending marriage and the secrets both men are guarding. Christopher's trans identity is a central, vulnerable secret that he fears will alienate anyone he truly cares for. James, too, carries a mysterious past that informs his stoic demeanor and guarded nature. The narrative expertly uses these secrets to create emotional stakes, ensuring that the reader is fully invested in their journey towards self-acceptance and mutual love. Beyond the captivating romance, A Gentleman's Gentleman offers a profound and empathetic exploration of identity. Alexander's portrayal of Christopher as the trans man in the Regency era is handled with immense sensitivity and historical thoughtfulness. The novel doesn't shy away from the challenges Christopher faces. The constant need for discretion, the fear of exposure, the internal struggle for self-validation in a world that lacks the language or understanding for his experience. Yet it also celebrates the quiet joys and resilience of living authentically. Christopher's is not just about finding love, but about finding peace and confidence in his own skin, understanding that his trans identity does not diminish his manhood, but rather enriches his experience of it. The book subtly reminds us that queer people have always existed, often finding ways to live and love despite societal constraints. The theme of authenticity versus obligation is central to Christopher's arc. His father's will forces him into a public performance of masculinity, heteronormativity that clashes with his inner truth. The novel beautifully illustrates his internal conflict as he weighs the security of his inheritance against the profound cost of denying his true self and his growing feelings for James. This struggle resonates deeply, touching upon universal anxieties about societal pressure and the courage it takes to choose one's own path. Furthermore, A Gentleman's Gentleman champions the concept of chosen family. Christopher's bond with Cook and Plinkton, who are more akin to family than servants, underscores the idea that connection and support can be found outside traditional familial structures. This theme extends to his relationship with James as their professional association blossoms into a profound personal partnership, demonstrating that love can transcend social hierarchies, conventional roles. The brief but memorable appearance of Etienne Charbonneau, flamboyant tailor who represents clandestine queer community, further enriches this theme, highlighting the existence of networks of support and understanding in an otherwise restrictive society. Alexander's writing style is a significant strength of the novel. The prose is elegant and engaging, infused with a dry wit and sharp observational humor that keeps the narrative lively and entertaining. The dialogue sparkles with intelligence and charm, particularly in the exchanges between Christopher and James, which often carry layers of unspoken meaning and simmering attraction. The pacing is deliberate, allowing the emotional depth of the characters and the slow romance to develop naturally, building anticipation with every chapter. While it is a historical romance, Alexander manages to infuse it with a contemporary sensibility that makes the characters and their struggles feel relatable and immediate without sacrificing the charm of the Regency setting. One of the book's most commendable aspects is its ability to blend historical detail with a modern perspective. While some historical romance purists might quibble with certain anachronisms or the portrayal of class dynamics, Alexander's primary goal is to tell a compelling and inclusive love story. The historical setting serves as a backdrop against which the timeless themes of identity, acceptance, and love can be explored with fresh eyes. The focus firmly on the emotional journey of the characters, making any minor historical liberties forgivable in the service of a more resonant narrative. In conclusion, A Gentleman's Gentleman is more than just historical romance. It is a significant and transformative work within the genre. T.J. Alexander has crafted a story that is witty, tender, and profoundly important, offering a much-needed narrative that centers on a trans hero finding love and acceptance. The novel's strengths lie in its deeply lovable characters, their undeniable chemistry, the expertly executed slow-burn romance, and its thoughtful, wholehearted exploration of trans life and queer love in a historical context. It is a testament to the idea that love in all its forms has always existed and deserves to be celebrated. Readers seeking a charming, compelling, and truly unique Regency romance that will warm their hearts and broaden their perspectives. A Gentleman's Gentleman is an absolute must-read. It is a joyous and affirming story that reminds us of the power of authenticity and the enduring strength of human connection.